Football, 100 Million Simulations to Football King. Episode 51. The Battle for the Top of the. Su Long looked at Mendes seriously and smiled slightly. In fact, Su Long himself did not know which team he wanted to choose, and the most important thing was to see the results of his simulated football career. Whichever result is the best, go to the team. But Mendes is not wrong. Only by stabilizing the playing time, ensuring the core position, it is best to buy it by the head coach. Can there be a good simulation result? But Su Long felt that now was not the most suitable time to sign the agreement. The transfer thing, wait until the end of the season. Mendes's eyes lit up. Are you so confident? Su Long nodded. Mendes said, well, will you surrender to me? Su Long sighed and said, Mr. Mendes, I am very willing from a personal point of view, but my previous agent Su Gao has also helped me a lot, and I am not willing to kick him away like this. In fact, I was just thinking, you are a European giant, and my current agent Su Gao is a giant of Dragon Country brokerage. Is there room for cooperation between the two? In fact, the environment and rules of the game in the Dragon Kingdom are very different from your Europe. I don't know if you have ever understood. A broker partner who is familiar with the Dragon Country market, the Asian market, I don't think you will refuse. When Mendes heard Su Long's words, he was slightly stunned and fell into thought. After a while, Mendes said, Su, today's chat with you has benefited me a lot. Your suggestion, I still need to go back and carefully consider with my partner. Can you leave a call from your agent for me? No problem. Su Long did not know that his unintentional act had brought about monstrous changes to the Dragon Kingdom's Young Legion and completely changed the historical process of the Dragon Kingdom. For Su Long, this coffee with Mendes is just a seasoning after training and competition. At 6 p.m. on March 7th, OE played Mainz away. Mainz's home fans are shouting for Mainz. The game had just begun, and the two sides were calm. The on-site commentary is also talking about things off the field. Today's game is a battle for 3 or 4 places in the standings, and if the O team continues to win, it will be third, or even tied for second. Do you think the O team has a chance in this game? You see the enthusiasm of the fans on the scene. I don't think the Mainz fans would allow this to happen at home, right? Yes, but there is no absolute OE or team chance. My god, the high ball was pushed up in front of Chip by the opposing defender. Chip shot hard and scared the opposing player into covering his hands underneath, not shooting. He's passing. I didn't expect the ball to pass in front of Su Long. Su Long pushed the defender with one hand, one foot for support, and the other foot to throw hard. Oh my god, Su scored again. It's crazy, my god, it's another 3-minute goal. The live commentary is crazy. They also want to talk about today's weather. In the blink of an eye, Su Long scored again? Let's take a look at the replay. This ball, it can't be said to be Mainz's mistake. It can only be said to be too coincidental. And number 22 Chip has a lot of trust in Su. This young striker from Dragon Kingdom is crazy. I explained that in 10 years, I have never seen such a crazy performance. A miracle from the mysterious East. We can see that in the home stadium of Mainz, there are some red flags flying, and red represents the East, which is the color of the Dragon national flag. Another live commentary added, that's the Dragon flag. Those are Dragon Country immigrant fans. They are supporting the stars of their hometown, which is a manifestation of homesickness. The ancient and mysterious East, about a love 3-minute goal that is different from ours, made Mainz a little flustered. But the goalkeeper on Mainz's side seemed to be in good shape today, saving off several threatening shots from our. If it weren't for this goalkeeper, it might have been 3-0. In the 40th minute, Chip, who was a defensive striker, returned to the position of defender and topped the ball in the air. Once again, the ball came to Su Long's feet. Su Long took the ball and accelerated while observing his teammates. Su Long received the ball and was stunned. What about teammates? I glanced at the coons inserted in front of me, too far away. Chip didn't come to pick him up either. In the absence of teammates, there are Mainz defenders in the back, left and right. This is the problem that Su Long found between the electric light and Flint. Without teammates, you can only bring your own. The voices of the 3 live commentators began to slow down, and suddenly became urgent. Su Long ran with the ball, past the first man, after the second man. Oh my god, he stepped into the forbidden zone. The goalkeeper is out. Oh my god, enter. Su Long enters. Good ball. One man picked a team. This ball, it's amazing. It's wonderful. It has to be the best goal of the Bundesliga today. Let's take a look at the replay. It's so exciting. It has to be the best goal of the round today, even the best goal of the Bundesliga this year. Video replay. Su Long received a pass in front of his own penalty area and immediately launched a counterattack. Su Long took the ball through the midfield, first passing the first player, and then passing the second player. At this time, on his left, right, and back, there are 8 defensive players. The goalkeeper also attacked, but Su Long made a light push and hit the ball into the goal. The Mainz player in the back can only eat his exhaust. Wonderful, so wonderful, I don't know what to describe. So fast with the ball. After this season, will he be able to stay in the Bundesliga? Obviously, it's impossible. In addition to Mainz fans, there were also scouts from various giants. Bayern, Manchester United, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Paris Saint-Germain, AC, Juve and more, top teams from the top 5 leagues. All eyes are on this game. The Bayern Black scout who first discovered Su Long looked at the scouting report he wrote and changed the rating from 4.5 stars to 5 stars. My vision is too accurate, the template Ronaldo is really right. The alien scored 44 goals in the Brazilian Serie A when he was 17 years old, and now Su is not a dragon alien? At the beginning of the second half, the two teams fought again. In the 55th minute, Mainz finally scored a goal, 1-2, and finally saw the hope of equalization. Now OE's momentum is so strong that even if it is equalized, Mainz's players are completely acceptable. The fans at home cheered and cheered for Mainz. They also hope Mainz can interrupt OE's winning streak. In the 71st minute, Su Long was once again surrounded by the opposite side. This time he finally found someone to pick him up and pass the ball into the penalty area. Kuhns plunged straight into the box and fired a powerful shot that broke Mainz's goal. 3-1. Su's assist again. Another wonderful performance. Su and Kuhns' tacit cooperation. Mainz's fans covered their heads and couldn't bear to watch. At this time, there have been fans cursing and leaving. Home 1-3. The fans are angry. In the 80th minute, Mainz's head coach saw that he was already 1-3 behind, with 10 minutes left plus the stoppage time, and decided to break the boat. Replace one of the center-backs, replace them with a striker, form a 4-striker lineup, and fight to the death. The 4-striker lineup soon paid off. In 89 minutes, Mainz scored a goal to make it 2-3. Coach Mainz yelled from the sidelines, only one goal left. The Mainz players, though tired and panting, were equally hopeful. However, 2 minutes later, the defender on Mainz's side made a mistake and was read by Coxa. Both sides approached the end of the game and their physical fitness was tested. It was just a problem with the defense of the O side, and Mainz seized the opportunity to score. And now it is also too tired, and the defenders on Mainz's side have made mistakes. Cockle's steal at number 24. At the last moment, he talked about the forbidden zone. The goalkeeper attacked, Cockle shot, blocked by the goalkeeper. Su again, Su's reshoot. Goal scored. Mainz's defender fell to the ground. He pulled Su deadly, but he still couldn't hold Su, and he cramped. In the final stoppage time, Soda scored the 4th goal of the game. Hat-trick. Oh my god, how many hat-tricks have this been? The efficiency of this goal is simply not human. Yes, another alien. Let's take a look at the replays. Cockle's steals were too critical and Su was also very calm in the last minute and didn't get spoiled by defenders to catch the ball. 2-4. Su Long's goal in stoppage time completely shattered Mainz's last hope. Soon, the end of the game whistled. Su Long's hat-trick helped OE win away to Mainz. 6 wins in a row. Congratulations OE. Ranked 3rd in the standings. Su Long came out of the locker room and walked to the mixed area, and a group of reporters immediately rushed up. Su, how did you feel about hat-tricking again today? Su Long smiled and said, it feels good, we're happy, I think we enjoyed the game. Su Long briefly returned to a few questions and left with the large troops. The next day, the Bundesliga section of various newspapers was covered with reports about OE. At the same time, the major newspapers and media have mentioned one point. Now in the top 3 of the Bundesliga standings. First place, Oberhausen, 11 wins, 6 draws, 6 losses, and 39 points. The last 3 games have drawn and lost 2 times. Second place, Koppes, 11 wins, 6 draws, 6 losses and 39 points, 1 win, 1 draw and 1 loss in the last 3 games. Third place, OE, 10 wins, 7 draws, 6 losses, 37 points, the last 3 games in 3 sets all wins. The next 24 rounds of matches on March 14th, Oberhausen's home match against OE, will be a battle of dragons and tigers and become the focus of the Bundesliga. All the fans are watching this game. Can O take the lead in topping Oberhausen's top spot? Episode 52. Riot Operation, first of the standings. The 24th round of the Bundesliga consists of 2 matches on March 12th at 8 p.m. and March 13th at 4 p.m. The first match of the Battle of Focus, Koppes away to Allen, was played at 8 p.m. on March 12th. The second match of the Battle of the Focus, Oberhausen at home to OE, was played at 4 p.m. on March 13th. These 2 matches directly determine the new round of the top 3 in the standings. At 8 p.m. on March 12th, OER was in the hotel watching Koppes away from home against Allen. In the 93rd minute, the end of the game whistled and the whole team cheered. Koppes lost the match 0-1. The points are still 39, and now OE is 37 points. As long as tomorrow's game is won, then OE is 40 points, the first place in the standings. Coach Golder looked at the cheering crowd and said, don't be so happy so early, even if you win tomorrow, it proves that nothing will come. Tomorrow wins, we are indeed the number 1 in the standings, but how long we can hold on is the key. After tomorrow's play, we have 10 rounds left. Don't be so happy. If you let your guard down, Koppes, Oberhausen's present is our future. They used to be number 1 in the standings. Golder saw that the players were very inflated and lowered the fire for them first. But the effect? Just look at their hippie smiling faces. The next day, March 13th at 4 p.m. Before the game began, Golder continued to spray the players. As an old coach, I know too well that the players are now absent-minded, and they are all thinking about what happens after becoming the first. There are not 13. People's minds are on the game in front of them. This is to plant a big heel. I'll just stand and watch when I wait, and whoever doesn't behave well, I'll change him right away. Don't think I'm kidding. You don't want to play. Your teammates on the bench want to play. If you don't believe it, try it. After some anger from the old coach Gold, he slightly sprayed the state of the players back a little. When everyone walks out of the locker room, they can hear the sound of a wave of people. Oh HRWO. The home fans sang Oberhausen's team song. But the fans at the Niederlechon Stadium today are not only Oberhausen fans, but also some fans who are dedicated to supporting Sauron and OE. Above the audience, it is mainly a piece of fire in the blue ocean. With the appearance of the players, the live commentary also began its own work. This game is the focus of this round, and with the defeat of Koppis yesterday, the victory or defeat of this game will determine who is the first. Most of the fans at the Niederlechon Stadium today are Oberhausen fans, and they came here of course hoping that Oberhausen could hold the first place. But OE came prepared today. Have you seen the fiery red colors above the audience? All of them are here to support the OE team, to be precise, to support Su Long. These reds represent the Dragon Kingdom. With the words of the live commentary, the game soon began. But after the game started, things didn't turn out as the OER players expected. In the 10th minute, Oberhausen striker David O'Donker tore through OE's back line with speed, shooting a powerful shot inside the box and scoring the ball. Oberhausen scored. In 10 minutes, young striker Odin Cole, who was on loan from Dortmund, scored a goal of gold. It's really wonderful. Odin Cole's pace is so fast that OE's backline can't stop him. Now Oberhausen is in the lead. It's up to O to respond. Yes, the A Su Long on the other side has to respond. Odin Cole ran excitedly on the pitch. In Dortmund's depression, he did not get the reuse of the manager, was loaned to a Bundesliga team like Oberhausen, which for him, this is the goal he played for Dortmund. I, Odin Cole, have every strength to get back in the Bundesliga. Oberhausen's players rushed up to celebrate with Odin Cole, a goal that proved that they were still Oberhausen first, still big brother. The Oberhausen fans in the audience cheered and sang along. Oberhausen, first, Oberhausen, first. The scouts are waiting to see if the number 9 striker of the O team will respond. At this time, the OE players were dazed. They came with hope. But now the situation has taken a sharp turn for the worse, and they are behind in 10 minutes. Su Long roared angrily, "Wake up!" Chip hurried to the goal to pick it up. Kuntz took the ball over and yelled at the crowd, saying, "The game has just begun, wake up, it's a tough fight. Gone tread horses." With that, Kuntz put the ball back in the middle circle. With the roar of Su Long and Kuntz, the game status of the O players seems to be roared back. In the 16th minute, Chip was successful in the front scramble, but was knocked down by the opposing defender, and the referee signaled Oberhausen to foul and blew a free kick. Kuntz was pressuring the referee. This is clearly a malicious foul. You see people lying on the ground. Chip wanted to get up, but when he heard Kuntz say this, he directly showed a look of pain. However, the referee shook his head and signaled Chip to get up. Chip felt that his acting skills were still poor, did not deceive the referee, had to get up. If he doesn't get up again, maybe he'll have to eat cards. Su Long put the ball at the penalty spot, looked at the wall and goal that were still adjusting, turned to the referee and asked, "Mr. Referee, can I serve?" The referee looked at Su and didn't speak. Nimas, don't say it when you say yes. Su Long directly kicked the ball towards the goal. Everyone around is dumbfounded. The ball went straight over the wall and flew into the top right corner of the goal. The goalkeeper on the opposite side was still directing the human wall, still adjusting, did not expect the ball to come suddenly. Watching the ball into the net, it was too late to react. The audience suddenly fell silent, and the fans were dumbfounded. What's going on? Scored? Chased flat? Immediately after, there was a burst of booing. There were also fans shouting, "Foul." Kuntz and Chip were stunned and looked at Su Long, not knowing whether to celebrate. Because the referee is not far away. This fast serve, how do you look like a violation? Oberhausen's players rushed to the referee for evaluation. "Mr. Referee, this is obviously a foul. This free kick doesn't fit the rules, it was played before we were ready." Su Long said directly, "Mr. Referee, I asked you, this is a quick free kick." The referee took a look at Su Long and still raised his hand to indicate that the goal was valid. As soon as Oberhausen saw that the ball worked, he immediately stopped doing it. They surrounded the referee, theorizing and protesting to him. The referee shook his head, still sticking to his own decision, warning Oberhausen's players to pay attention to distance. "Su, you're stepping on the horse too hard," Kuntz whispered. "Is this okay?" Su Long glanced at the captain. "Why not? Fast free kicks. The referee does not deal, does not whistle. I also asked him if he can send it. He said yes. He just can't do it without speaking." Kuntz immediately gave a thumbs up. In the live broadcast room, the live commentary facing the camera is still discussing the fast free kick just now. "Su, this kid, I like it so much, I'm so creative." Another said, "But it was so unfair to Oberhausen that he wasn't ready, and OE served. Fast free kick, as long as the referee agrees. You see the replay." Su Long turned his head to ask the referee before kicking, which is where I said that Su is creative. It's true. He's not a reckless man. He said hello beforehand and the referee approved of his quick free kick afterwards. The goal made Oberhausen's players furious. As soon as the players are angry, the morale rises, and there is a situation that presses the OE back line to play. But there are advantages and disadvantages, and under the anger of the mood, there will be more mistakes. In the 37th minute, Oberhausen's angry attack did not win OE's goal, but instead made a mistake when returning the cross. Kuhn steals and sends the ball straight. Good ball. Chip plugged in at high speed to catch the ball. The number 3 player responsible for keeping an eye on his limit, Rema 007 grams, made a mistake, did not block him at the first time, let him break through. Chip cross. Su Long middle road covering. He didn't shoot, but as a fulcrum, passed back to Kuntz behind him. Kuntz's long-range shot. It's in. 2-1. OE successfully overtook it. So calm. Su's pass was too calm. He didn't choose to break through, but chose to pass it on to the back. And Captain Kuntz didn't disappoint. A wonderful long-range shot. Oberhausen exploded for 20 minutes, and instead of exploding OE's goal, he was taken away by Oberhausen's forward line, which was a great blow to Oberhausen's morale. Oberhausen's morale did not recover until the end of the 90-minute match, and he lost 2-1 to the OE team who came from afar. The game is over. 1-2. OE won this battle of focus, 11 wins, 7 draws, 6 losses and 40 points, successfully reaching the top of the standings. Of course, there are still 10 rounds of games left before the end of the season, and in those 10 rounds of competition, anything can happen. OE is only temporarily in first place. Behind him, Oberhausen 39 points, Koppes 39 points, Nuremberg, Mainz, and Bielefeld are all 37 points. It can be said that there are wolves chasing after him. In the locker room, the O team members hummed songs with a relaxed face. Kuntz packed up his backpack and said, "It's not good to be in the away locker room." The others nodded. "Yeah, if only the farm would be cool, okay? Once we're all set, let's go." Su is gone. Leave Su alone, he has too many beauty fans. As his teammates said, Su Long is now signing autographs for Dragon Country fans who have come to see the game from afar. During the game, the smear of red on the audience stage, he saw the female fans see Su Long come out and screamed, "Sign the back of my clothes, sign me on the lap, sign my ball." Su Long was stunned. "Little sister, don't you want to be like this?" Episode 53, Conversation with Lord Verde. 7 consecutive wins, number 1 in the standings. Rise of the O Legion. Dragon Country Su hat-trick again, help OE to the top. The new forces of the German B. Mysterious power from the Dragon Kingdom. Dragon Country Su, another alien? OE is now the hottest team in the Bundesliga. From the 14th place before the winter break, to the current first place, 7 consecutive wins, and Su Long, who has scored goals and scored constantly hat-tricks, are full of legend. The Good News reporter wanted to interview the most famous Su Hey Basler, and Basler simply chose to ignore it and shrink his head as a turtle. Su Hey, whose voice was getting smaller and smaller before, and OE Hey, this time directly, did not make a sound. Su Fan Wu Wei Bian wrote a new king on football to praise Su Long, citing various examples to illustrate Su Long's greatness, and finally mentioning, the Bundesliga League is only the starting point of Su. Where will Su choose next season? I hope he can consider the Bundesliga. A week later, OE hosted Allen, and the Main Stadium was not full in years and is now full. In addition to OE's banner, there is also a banner of the Dragon Kingdom. In this game, the players seem to be inspired by the fans. Su Long hat-tricked, and finally won Allen 6-1, continuing to lead the league standings. This game is the biggest score O has scored this season, and the biggest point difference. The fans of OE left the stadium satisfied. The morale of the last round opponent Oberhausen does not seem to have recovered and continues to lose streak, having fallen to 4th. Su Long scored twice in the game, leading the Bundesliga scorers list with 18 goals. 18 goals in 8 rounds, averaging 2.2 goals per match. Although it is only in the Bundesliga, this kind of goal efficiency makes all the giants excited. Top clubs around the world are trying to chase the number 9 Su from Dragon Country, but all the offers to come to the OER team or agent Su Gao were dismissed. Su Long's original intention was that when I finished the season, I could make enough achievements and simulate my football career a few more times before I could decide which team to go to. As a result, the club's unanimous reply to these giants is that Su Long's own will wait until the end of the Bundesliga. Of course, none of this will appear in the newspaper. Only local tabloids such as O Daily occasionally break the news that which giant is talking about transfer matters with Su Long. Su Long is now an OE, which is equivalent to a mascot. When Su Long was in school in the morning, he would often be asked by Nellie and other blonde waves with newspapers to ask if he was leaving. Su Long always smiled and said, "Wait until the end of my season." In the team, Su Long also openly stated that after this season, he will leave. But until the end of the season, he will continue to play for OE, scoring goals. When the teammates heard Su Long's statement, they were also relieved. Everyone is a professional player, and naturally knows the truth of people going to high places. In the next 9 games of this season, if Su Long is there, then the Bundesliga champions and promotion to the Bundesliga should be stable. There are also many fans in OE who ask Su Long if he is leaving OE. The club said Su Long had not yet spoken to any team about a transfer. This undoubtedly gave the fans a reassurance. At least this season, they can have Su Long. In this regard, the fans feel that Su Long is really generous. And I heard that the Dragon Kingdom is an ancient civilization country, and the Dragon Country people all talk about etiquette and morality, and it is indeed true. Su Long's season in OE has made many OE fans become Dragon Country fans. This unexpected cultural output has also become the thesis proposition and thesis material of several Longwa students, which has caused some waves in the circle of Longwa cultural theory and cultural export theory. At 5 p.m. on March 28, in the 26th round of the Bundesliga, OE played Karlsruhe away to Karlsruhe, 4-1 at halftime, and Su Long scored another hat-trick. At 65 minutes, Su Long was replaced. Unexpectedly, Karlsruhe suddenly sped up in the second half and scored 2 goals in a row, which frightened the whole team of OE. Fortunately, it was OE who persevered in the last 15 minutes. In the end, OE won the game 4-3 away. 9 wins in a row. OE continued to lead the Bundesliga standings, with Su Long's goal also reaching 21. Before the 27th round on April 4, Su Gao flew from the Dragon Kingdom to Germany. Su Gao contacted Mendes in advance, and this meeting was to talk about cooperation. The first thing to do together is to complete Su Long's next transfer. After 3 days of consultations, Su Gao and Mendes decided on cooperation. The suitable Dragon Country players are in charge of the affairs of the Dragon Country. Su Gao is responsible for the affairs of the Dragon Country, and Mendes is responsible for the affairs of the Yang Club. This transfer of Su Long is their first cooperation. Mendes said that after Su Long's transfer, Su Gao could get a reward of £1 million, which was exchanged for Su Long's brokerage contract overseas and transferred to Mendes's name. For this deal, Su Long also agreed. For Su Gao, he also earned, if he did it himself, it may only be £700,000. The most important thing is that Mendes's network is high and urgent. Finally, Su Gao and Mendes shook hands. Su Gao sighed and said, "There is no shortage of good players in Longwa. It is difficult to find a suitable club." Mendes immediately said, "Su, then you don't hurry to prepare the information for me. The negotiations of the club here, we will get it done, according to the agreement, we will share." Su Gao immediately took out a pile of information and said, "I was ready before I came. These are a few good players on my side." Su Long glanced at the player on the top page of the information, as if the surname was Chu. Mendes put away the information, nodded and said, "Well, I know, I'll go back and look at it. Now let's talk about Su's transfer. In fact, now that everyone has seen your strength and potential, it doesn't make much difference if you continue to fight. You can decide which club to transfer to first, you can say what you ask for, and I'll help you negotiate." Su Long shook his head and said, "Mr. Mendes, I agree to transfer to your side. I hope you can do it according to my arrangement. I don't want to talk now. Wait until the end of the Bundesliga, then it is not too late. It is not 2 months. There is no hurry." Mendes said, "Well, I can only say that there are several managers who want to talk to you in person right now. All of them are highly respected. If you don't want to talk about it, then forget it." Su Long said curiously, "Is it Lord Ferguson and Professor Wenger?" Mendes nodded. Su Long said indifferently, "Can I go to the Premier League now? I don't have a labor license." Mendes said with a high forehead, "This is indeed a problem. So, let's wait until the end of the season." "Well, actually, I asked you this because Mr. Ferguson really wanted to talk to you in person." Su Long said unexpectedly, "Where?" Mendes took out his phone and said, "On the phone." "Okay, I can do it at any time." Mendes nodded and said, "Then I ask Mr. Ferguson if he is busy now." After a while, Mendes made a few calls and handed it to Su Long. "Come, listen to the phone." Su Gao quietly watched without speaking next to him, shocked in his heart. "Is this the top agent?" Manchester United's Lord Verde, whom he had also met, had seen at the time of the signing of the Little Tongue, but it was impossible to have his contact information. Moreover, Xiaodong's signing is based on commercial purposes to a large extent, which is different from this time. Su Long answered the phone, a little nervous. After all, the opposite was the world's most powerful head coach, Lord Fu. "Hello, I'm Su Long." "Hello, Su, I'm Ferguson, and it's a pleasure to talk to you on the phone." Episode 54. The bumpy Manchester United career. Su Gao heard Su Long nodding his head continuously, curious about what Lord River had said to Su Long on the phone. Soon, Su Long said, "Thank you Lord Fu for your love for me. I still have to think about it." Then I hung up the phone. Mendes looked at Su Long and said, "Su, in fact, Ferguson and Manchester United are very sincere. Ferguson rarely recruits players personally. He personally recruits players. You can refer to C. Ronaldo, who has joined Manchester United this season." Su Long nodded and said, "He said that if I join Manchester United, he can promise that I will play at Manchester United next season." Su Gao's eyes widened in disbelief. "What about your labor certificate?" Mendes smiled and said, "Manchester United will help Su get the special genius clause. Su deserves the special genius clause." Su Gao was shocked. Not long ago, Manchester United signed a contract with Xiaodong, and he went to Bija on loan because of the labor certification issue. Now Ferguson had actually promised to give Su Long a special genius clause? It's really the same life as the same person, and after Su Long hung up the phone, he was indeed a little moved. After thinking about it, I decided to simulate it for a while. Do you use the football career simulator? Use wants to spend 100 achievement points. Yes. In 2004, at the age of 18, at the end of the season, you became the top scorer of the Bundesliga with 33 goals, helped OE win the Bundesliga championship, and successfully upgraded to the Bundesliga, which attracted attention at home and abroad. In June of the same year, you joined Manchester United for a transfer fee of £10 million, shocking the global transfer market. In 2005, when you were 19 years old, you were fouled in a certain game, your left calf was broken on the spot, and the season was reimbursed. In 2006, when you were 20 years old, you took 9 months off and were loaned to a championship team until recovering training and playing before returning to Manchester United at the end of the season. 200-7540, you're 21 years old, and because of the adjustment of the players in the team, you changed to play in the front, get more playing time, end the season, and score 2 goals. In 2008, when you were 22 years old, you gradually played the main bench position, and at the end of the season, you scored 4 goals. In 2009, at the age of 23, thanks to the transfer of Cristiano Ronaldo, you scored 4 goals in 6 games in the Champions League and the league, announcing your strong return on the field. At the end of the season, you scored a total of 7 goals. In 2010, at the age of 24, you moved to Manchester City for £5 million, scoring a goal in the FA Cup and helping the team win the FA Cup. In 2011, at the age of 25, you were reused by the head coach and made 32 appearances in all competitions, scoring 9 goals and contributing 10 assists. In 2012, you were 26 years old, the manager was out of class, and you were loaned to a championship team. In 2020, at the age of 34, you joined the Bundesliga team OE for free, and at the end of the season, you decided to retire after careful consideration. From then on, your football career is completely over. Choose one of the 4 options below. Physical attributes of 19-year-old, score 40. Technical attributes of 25-year-old, score 42. Mental attributes of 25-year-old, score 50. Life experience of 34 years old. Su Long read it and was silent. Joining Manchester United is not good. The first season was abolished. Even see Ronaldo is gone. He can't beat the main force and go to Manchester City and have a season of returns. Su Long really wants to choose the spiritual attribute of the 25-year-old. And the improvement is a bit much. But Su Long thought about it and decided to choose the life experience of 34 years old. See how you got hurt. See who that manager of Manchester City was in 2011 or hug his thigh. Choose a 35-year-old life experience. This important moment of football career moments instantly flooded into Su Long's mind. Such an experience was repeated in Su Long's mind, and Su Long had a feeling that he could not say it. The memory is flashback, and at the age of 34, he returned to the OE team, the starting point of his profession. In 2020, the O team turned out to be a Bundesliga team, and when he retired, he also retired the number 99 shirt he wore in the last season. Then there's the Manchester City experience. That coach's name in 2011 was Mancini? Su Long silently read this name in his heart. Then there was the experience at Manchester United. The player who fouled up only had the figure of the number 17, and after not remembering who had read all the experience, Su Long exhaled. Su Long looked at Mendes and said, "Mendes, do you know a head coach named Mancini?" "Mancini, it's Lazio's manager, you're very informed. He should be ready to jump to Inter. You want to go to Inter?" "Seriously, Inter can do it, there is a will over there. It's just not as high as Manchester United and Arsenal." Su Long shook his head and said, "No, I'll just ask." In this football career, in 2011, his physical attributes may not be as good as now, and he can mix in the Premier League. Su Long wanted to simulate it now. There are still 700 plus points left. Do you use the football career simulator? Use wants to spend 100 achievement points. Yes. In 2004, at the age of 18, at the end of the season, you became the top scorer of the Bundesliga with 33 goals, helped OE win the Bundesliga championship, and successfully upgraded to the Bundesliga, which attracted attention at home and abroad. In June of the same year, you joined Inter for a transfer fee of £10 million, shocking the global transfer market. In 2005, when you were 19 years old, you couldn't adapt to the team tactics in Serie A and sat on the cold bench. In 2006, when you were 20 years old, you went on loan to La Liga side Sevilla, and with the team all the way to the Champions League final, scoring a crucial goal in the final to help the team win the championship. In 2007, at the age of 21, you returned to Inter again due to a good performance in the Champions League, but could not adapt to the team tactics, and transferred to La Liga side Honvilla for £12 million. After you joined La Liga side Sevilla, you finally got the chance to play. You switched to playing in the front, the end of the season, scored 4 goals, and defended the Europa League. In 2008, you were 22 years old, the season ended, and you scored 4 goals. In 2009, you were 23 years old, the season ended, and you scored 5 goals. In 2010, you were 24 years old, with a torn cruciate ligament in the Champions League, and the season was reimbursed. In 2020, at the age of 34, you joined the Bundesliga team OE for free, and at the end of the season, you decided to retire after careful consideration. From then on, your football career is completely over. Choose one of the 4 options below. Physical attributes of 23-year-old, score 41. Technical attributes of 25-year-old, score 44. Mental attributes of 25-year-old, score 44. Life experience of 34 years old, Sulong side. Sure enough, Mancini at Inter in 2003 was not in Mancini in 2011. Mancini of the city, perhaps his personal situation, the situation of the team, the environment of the league, are all different, resulting in 2 completely different results. From the perspective of this football career, he is not suitable for Inter, and he can also hide a pit. Sulong just wondered why the spiritual attribute of the last time could reach 50, but this time it was only 44. Is it because of the coach, or because of the league? Sulong hadn't figured it out until now. Sulong thought about it for a while, and from the attribute rewards of these football careers, it seems that the technical attributes and spiritual attributes may be greatly improved, but physical attributes may be the manifestation of innate physical talent, which rises very slowly, even like the last simulation, injured early, and simply not long. Sulong can now basically confirm that his physical attributes are unlikely to be greatly improved in the league, and can only be improved by a 1.1 bonus of 1.1 per football career simulation. So Sulong chose the physical attribute. Your current physical attribute 41, technical attribute 38, spiritual attribute 38. Sulong came out of the simulation career, chatted with Mendes and Sugao for a while, and then left. For the football career of the last Manchester United trip to Manchester City, Sulong was still reluctant to give up the spiritual attribute of 50 ratings, and decided to go back to the dormitory to simulate it again. Back at the dormitory, when Sulong was preparing to simulate his football career, the mobile phone rang and it was Suma's QQ. "Son, when is your next game? Send it to me. We're going to come and see you during the May Day holiday." Sulong saw his mother's QQ, smiled suddenly, sent her the next schedule, and then after a few conversations, he began to simulate his football career. Do you use the football career simulator? Use once to spend 100 achievement points. Yes. In 2004, at the age of 18, at the end of the season, you became the top scorer of the Bundesliga with 33 goals, helped OE win the Bundesliga championship, and successfully upgraded to the Bundesliga, which attracted attention at home and abroad. In June of the same year, you joined Manchester United for a transfer fee of £10 million, shocking the global transfer market. In 2005, when you were 19 years old, you changed your style of play, changed to playing in the front, gradually played on the bench, and at the end of the season, scored 5 goals. Sulong's eyes widened. Nima, one more physical attribute, the whole football career completely changed. I can play at Manchester United. Is this the butterfly effect? Episode 55. The Great Improvement. In 2006, when you were 20 years old, you gradually played the main bench position, and at the end of the season, you scored 6 goals. In 2007, you were 21 years old, and due to the adjustment of the players in the team, you got more playing time, and at the end of the season, you scored 7 goals. In 2008, when you were 22 years old, you got more playing time, you had a serious sprained ankle in a game, you took a month off, and the season ended, scoring 5 goals. In 2009, at the age of 23, thanks to the transfer of Cristiano Ronaldo, you scored 5 goals in 6 games in the Champions League and the league, announcing your strong return on the field. At the end of the season, you scored a total of 10 goals. In 2010, you were 24 years old and transferred to Ligue 1 Saint-Étienne for £5 million. In 2011, at the age of 25, you were reused by your manager, making 38 appearances in Ligue 1 and scoring 14 goals. In 2012, at the age of 26, you made 38 appearances in Ligue 1 and scored 15 goals. In 2012, at the age of 27, you made 38 appearances in Ligue 1 and scored 16 goals. In 2013, you were 28 years old, and you suffered a serious sprain to your ankle in a game, and the season was reported to be cancelled. In 2014, at the age of 29, you re-entered the main position, making 30 appearances in Ligue 1 and scoring 10 goals. In 2015, at the age of 30, you made 35 appearances in Ligue 1 and scored 14 goals. In 2015, you were 31 years old, a cruciate ligament was torn in a certain game, and the season was reimbursed. In 2020, at the age of 34, you joined the Bundesliga team OE for free, and at the end of the season, you decided to retire after careful consideration. From then on, your football career is completely over. Choose one of the 4 options below. Physical attributes of 22-year-old, score 42. Technical attributes of 25-year-old, score 50. Mental attributes of 30-year-old, score 51. Life experience of 34 years old. Now Su Long was in difficulty in choosing again. I feel that any attribute is very attractive. Su Long thought about it and decided to choose the spiritual attribute. Your current physical attribute 41. Technical attribute 38, spiritual attribute 51. At the moment when Su Long chose a good one, the understanding of football in his mind was more profound. At the same time, the understanding of tactics, organization, and persistence on these spiritual levels has also deepened a lot. The emotional impact has also become less. Whether it's an injury, or doing a cold bench, or other things on the field, it has less impact on their mentality and emotions. In this football career, the difficulties he encountered and the change of mentality were all absorbed by Su Long. Now there are 500 plus points, and it can be simulated 5 times. Su Long did not continue to simulate, saving to see for backup. In case there is any situation that needs to be simulated, it will not be nothing. At 4 p.m. on April 4th, before the game began, Su Long took Su Gao into the stadium for a tour. Su Gao did not rush to go to OE this time, but wanted to watch a Su Long game. Speaking of which, he has never seen Su Long's Bundesliga league. Is it really that powerful? Now his other talented player, Xiao Dong, has played 3 games in Belgium and has not yet scored. On the other hand, Su Long, who did not pay much attention to it before, dominated the Bundesliga and scored goals in every game. Su Gao was really curious, was the difference between Su Long and Xiao Dong really that big? Su Gao followed Su Long into the locker room and got to know the players of the OER team, as well as the coaching staff. Su Gao also handed over his business card very professionally, saying that if he wanted to come to Longhua to play professional leagues, you could contact him. What Su Long did not expect was that he brought Su Gao into the locker room this time, which brought different changes to Longhua football. Not many of the players of the OE team went to Longhua to play professional matches, but a few of them went to Longhua to be football teachers after that, and really brought a little new things to Longhua youth training. Su Long is like a butterfly, flapping its wings, constantly flying upwards, but also driving the storm in the Far East. At 4:45, Su Gao had already come to the stands and waited with the fans for the game to begin. What Su Gao didn't expect was that there were a lot of Dragon Country people around him. They all held the Dragon State flag, and from time to time, they also looked at Su Gao's raw face, and some of them chatted directly with Su Gao. From the chat, I learned that they were all international students from nearby cities. At this time, the game has not yet begun. Su Gao has really felt the heat of Su Long in Germany. It's a pity that I really don't have many relationships abroad, otherwise I wouldn't have to give Mendes a piece of the pie. As the on-site commentary read the name of the starter, there was a burst of cheers from the stands, especially when reading Su. Soon, the game began. At the beginning of the game, the away team Burghausen's players were very fierce, and they fouled Su Long many times. But Su Long pays attention to himself, protects himself, and at the same time does not get too angry because of the excessive actions of the other party, but devotes himself to the game. Su Long can feel the peace of his heart, which is the role of spiritual attribute 52. In the 9th minute, the fans cheered and celebrated the goal. Su's goal. Congratulations Su, he scored his 22nd goal, well ahead of the Bundesliga top scorers. He's already scored 10 goals in a row. The state is too hot, who can stop him? Su Gao watched Su Long running in the stands to celebrate, and all his teammates gathered around. In the 65th minute, the fans at the scene once again gave a huge cheer, and even Su Gao participated in it. Oh my god, it's Su again, Su's second degree. Burghausen couldn't stop Su's forward pace at all. Soon, Su Long was replaced by a rest. In the end, OE beat Burghausen 3-1 at home and sent them home. When Su Gao flew back to Longhua, he recalled that Xiao Dong seemed to have a big gap in terms of physical fitness and technology compared with Su Long. Half a month passed in the blink of an eye, during which OE's 2 games were won. On April 9th, against Koppes, who were 3rd in the standings, Su Long scored another hat-trick to finish 5th in points 4-1. Koppes, who was then demoralized at all, lost again in the match on April 17th, dropping out of the top 5 of the table, as did Oberhausen before him. Following this trend, O only needs to win 3 more games to lock up the Bundesliga title 2 rounds early. Su Long did not care about this, because Su Pa Su Ma is coming to OE. The May Day holiday, coupled with annual leave and leave, Su Dad and Su Mom had a total of 20 days of vacation and decided to come to see their son. Especially Su Dad, every day in the newspaper, on the forum, watching the good news of his son's game, his heart itched. I thought about going to the scene to watch my son play and cheer for my son. Mama Su came to the door of the AOE base, and when she saw Su Long, her eyes were red. Son, you are thin. Su Long was speechless. Mom, I weighed 10 pounds this season. Su Long picked up Su Dad and Su Mama back to the dormitory, and the OE team had already prepared an empty dormitory for them. Su Dad and Su Ma walked into the empty dormitory and sighed. Son, the club is so good to us. Su Long smiled and said, of course, I gave them such hard-to-play football and scored so many goals. Mama Sue smiled and said, yeah, your dad said every day in the Dragon Kingdom that he wanted to see you play. Sue dad's face turned red, where there is. Hey, you're still shy. Sue dad is speechless. Can't he give me a little face in front of his son? Sue dad quickly changed the subject. Son, then which team are you going to go to next season? Mama Sue immediately said, I think it's not bad to stay here. People here are so good to their sons, except for being remote. What do you know? Sue dad looked at Sue Ma and said. Mama Sue immediately became angry. What are you talking about? Nothing, you heard it wrong. Sue Long looked at his father and mother fighting and smiled. I am alone here, although I am free and happy, but I occasionally think of my family. Sue Long looked at his father and said, I haven't thought about it yet, but basically I am sure that I am going to a relatively large team. At least I can afford my £10 million in liquidated damages. Otherwise OE will not be able to release people. Sue dad and Sue mama heard Sue Long's words and their eyes widened. £10 million? Son, are you so valuable? Sue Long smiled and said, you think my Bundesliga goal first is a joke? Sue dad murmured, is the gold content of the Bundesliga league so high? Sue Long smiled and said, it's okay, mainly because of my goal efficiency and age here. By the way, for the afternoon game, I've reserved tickets for you. Sue Pa's eyes immediately lit up and said, where? I heard that there are more tickets at the station, right? What is left for you is a sitting ticket. Sue Long smiled and said. Mama Sue immediately said, son, then I'll cook for you at noon? Sue Long shook his head and said, oh, let's talk about it after the evening. Today I still have a training meal. Sue dad immediately said, athletes should control their diet before the competition. Oh, Mama Sue seemed to understand and nodded. At 5 p.m., in the 30th round of the Bundesliga match, OE played at home to Bielefeld. Bielefeld is now vying with Nuremberg for second place in the table. OE's number 1 in the table was too stable and they could only go net second. Now Nuremberg is second and Bielefeld is third. And the difference between the two is 1 point. Before the game began, Sue Pa looked at the fans around him, and there were various banners, singing, and sighed, this is watching the ball, the atmosphere of our dragon country is too far away. Mama Sue glanced at Sue dad and said, then you can stay here. What nonsense. Under the daily conversation between the two, the game soon began. Both players came on and the game began. It's the son. Oh, this guy is so rude. Son shot. Oops, almost got in. How can this man be so barbaric, bullying my son? Sue dad listened to his wife's broken thoughts, very speechless. He looked back at the field, his eyes narrowed, almost stood up with the fans around him, raised his hands. On the field, Sue Long received a hanging ball from his teammate in the penalty area. Did not wait for the ball to land, and shot in the air. Scored. My son scored 0. Episode 56. The Battle of the Champions, the Battle of the Ascension. Sue Pa stood up and celebrated Sue Long's goal, with the excited fans around him. Mama Sue was still sitting on the sidelines, a little slow to react. Scored? Sue Long ran to the front of the stage on the side of Sue Dad and Sue Ma, and made a love to his father and mother, and this love made the on-site commentary excitedly misunderstood. My God, do you see that? Sue's celebration made a loving gesture against the stands. This is an obvious show of love. Is it his girlfriend in the stands? Sue's girlfriend? Who the hell is that? With the speculation of the live commentary, I don't know how many girls who are watching the live broadcast are heartbroken. And this time the ball is just the beginning. After 10 minutes, the fans boiled up again. Jank strikes with a long pass, and Coons makes a low pass on the left. Chip was destroyed by a kick from the defender before he could stop the ball in the penalty area, and the ball reached Sue Long's feet and shot. Scored. 2-0. In 15 minutes, Sue Long's push 20 meters in front of the goal hit the dead corner in the upper left corner, and the goalkeeper failed to save. My God, the Bielefeld defenders don't know if they broke the pass or if it was passed to Sue Long. The fans suddenly cheered again. At this time, through the director's screen, Sue Dad and Sue Ma were on TV. The on-site commentary laughed and said, forgive my mistake, it turns out that Sue Long's show of love is for his parents. Do you see that? Today, Sue's parents came to the scene. Obviously, the arrival of Sue Dad and Sue Mama today made Sue Long full of war spirit, scoring 2 goals in 15 minutes. 5 minutes later, Sue Long made a threatening breakthrough that was destroyed by a rough tackle from the opposing defender. Sue Long jumped up in time to avoid injury. Instead, the defender sat on his lap when he was dropped by Sue Long. Yes, the defensive general screamed, covered his knees, and rolled on the ground. The men on Bielefeld's side rushed over to question Sue Long, but were stopped by Kuntz and Chip. Kuntz pointed at the people of Bielefeld and said, you shovel people to eat their own fruits. What do you mean? If you don't shovel people on number 5, Sue Long won't jump up. The scene was chaotic at once. The referee and substitutes rushed up and separated the two sides of the clash. The injured number 5 player was carried inside. Mama Sue on the sidelines covered her mouth. Can't fight, right? Just now my son was too dangerous. Mama Sue feels that the game is too dangerous. If you don't fight, you don't play, although you make a lot of money. But it is also too easy to get hurt. Sue Dad shook his head and said, professional football is like this, no way, but Xiaolong is clever. You see this ball just now, he jumped up and dodged. In the 43rd minute, Coons was in front of the midfielder's header, and after Su Long, who was between offside and non-offside, got the ball, dragged a defender, took a step outside the box, shot from a distance, and the ball drilled into the bottom right corner of the goal. Oh my god! Su scored again. Hat-trick at halftime, a gift for parents who are on the scene. In the second half of the game, Girder watched the atmosphere of the game become more and more irritable. The players on both sides moved more and more, and based on the purpose of protecting the players, they replaced Su Long in 53 minutes. When it came down, Gerd also explained to Su Long, "The opposite action is too big, you have hat-tricked, there is no need to take risks." Su Long smiled and nodded. "Mr. Gold, I know. By the way, my parents said to invite the whole team to dinner tonight. I don't know if you are free?" Gerd was stunned and said, "Authentic Dragon Country cuisine? Of course, then I've got to give it a try tonight." After 40 minutes, the match ended and OE won the match 3-1. In the locker room, the young cockle asked Su Long, "Su, where are we going to eat tonight?" "It's in our cafeteria. Didn't you say please have dinner?" Su Long smiled and said, "Yes, my parents said that they wanted to cook themselves, but in fact, they were not cooking, they were eating hot pot." The crowd wondered, what is a hot pot? Su Long smiled and said, "You'll know when you arrive." Since the preparation time was not enough, Su Pa Suma decided to eat hot pot for this meal. The clear soup hot pot in the north is not spicy, so there is no worry about Europeans being dissatisfied. When the whole team of 20 people came to the canteen, they looked at the induction cooker on the 3 tables and sighed in surprise. One by one, like curious babies, ask what this is and what that is, and then pick up the ingredients and take a bite. "Ah, this taste, I don't know how to describe it." Chip took a bite of raw jerking and frowned. And Kuntz picked up a bottle of peanut butter and said, "What is this for?" One by one, curious babies widened their eyes when they ate the first piece of brushed lamb slices. The aroma of the sauce meat mixed together gives them a feeling they have never tried before. It was so wonderful. "What is this called?" "Hot pot. This is the authentic Dragon Country cuisine." "Unfortunately not here." Su Dad and Suma heard them talking and smiled. Although I couldn't understand them, I could tell from the smiles on their faces that the meal was okay. Su Long also showed them how to get this hot pot, and Kuntz, Chip and others took notes like schoolchildren. After a while, Chip took notes, but Golder took them. Su Long did not expect that his meal would set off a hot pot boom in OE, and even in Saxony. And finally the fire reached Germany, the whole of Europe. Later, scholars learned through investigation and research that the source was actually Su Long's place. The report of the game was reported the next day. Longwa Sports Weekly has become a professional household reporting on Su Long, because reporting on Su Long's matches has stabilized sales in the domestic football news. The newspaper Football later had to follow suit and report on Su Long's match. At the earliest, the reporter of the football newspaper also wrote, "Su Long de road is difficult," such a report pretending to exhort the essence of the depreciation. And then Su Long continued to win until the first place in the standings. And after the slap in the face, the football newspaper changed reporters. At present, the biggest and most conspicuous position of the Sports Weekly and football newspaper in the foreign section is Su Long's report. Because Su Long has heat, traffic, full victory record, the first place in the team standings, the absolute core of the team, 30 goals, the first place in the Bundesliga scorer list. How to look at it is the first person to stay in the ocean today. The posts of the Tanya forum are also very hot, a large number of followers, just one day has been 3,000 plus followers. The reason for the fire is not because of the competition, but because of the hot pot dinner pictures in the post. Netizens saw photos of foreigners eating hot pot and couldn't help but complain. The clear soup is too widowed, and the fog is hot pot up. Haha, Su Long opened the door to a new world for the German big brother. You see they're still taking notes, laughing at me. After eating this hot pot, you are ready to win the championship. Come on Su Long. Come on Su Long, win the championship. Ji Wenjun, who was at school, looked at the post of the Tanya forum and sent a QQ to Su Long. My uncle and aunt have gone to Germany. Ji Wenjun now sometimes chats with Su Long about QQ. After all, he is a friend, and it is normal to care about it. After Su Long finished training, he returned home to see Ji Wenjun's QQ and immediately replied, "Yes, I was training in the afternoon, and I didn't see the information." Ji Wenjun replied in seconds, "It's okay, you can also eat hot pot in Germany, it's so cool." It was okay and okay. Ji Wenjun looked at Su Long's QQ, snorted, and replied, "When will you come back?" "I'll come back after playing in the Bundesliga. And I'll come back and invite you to dinner when the time comes." That's a word. On May 2, 2004 at 5 p.m., in the 31st round of the Bundesliga, OE played away against Fürth. Su Dad and Su Ma did not follow to watch the away game, but on the recommendation of Gelder and others, they came to the fan bar of OE to watch the game. For the convenience of his parents and parents, Su Long also deliberately found local international students to accompany him. The owner of the fan bar learned that it was Su Long's parents and immediately gave a very polite reception. "Welcome to Su Pa Su Ma," from the mysterious East. The guests in the bar raised their glasses. "Welcome to Su Papa Su, Fed of Gone Ma tonight. Welcome Su Dad Su Ma, have a drink." Su Dad smiled and also raised his glass, "Drink." In this way, the game of the O team began with the collision of wine glasses and ended with the sound of wine glasses colliding. The end of the game whistle blew. OE won the game 1-0 away, and Su Long scored the winning goal. The players surrounded Su Long and shouted with their arms, and the fans in the bar shouted the same with their arms. Su Dad also followed the fans in shouting and laughing. His own son scored again. The fans in the bar were cheering, "Champion, rise armor." This round of matches won 2.2, then in the next 31 rounds of matches. If the victory continues, OU will win the Bundesliga 2 rounds in advance and directly lock in the promotion of the Bundesliga. On the afternoon of May 8, 2004, OE Main Stadium. In the 31st round of the Bundesliga, OE played Duisburg at home. The game hadn't started yet, and the Main Stadium was packed with cheering fans. Su Dad and Su Ma are also among them, and they can feel the fanaticism of the fans. This game is the most important game in the history of OE, and it is also the most important game for Su Long and OE. If this match is won, then OE will become the champion of the Bundesliga 2 rounds in advance and qualify for promotion to the Bundesliga. It's a battle of champions. It's the battle of the ascension. In the locker room, club president Reinhardt came here on a rare occasion. "Today, we are here to win. Nonsense is not much to say. Today's game, we want to win. Play Duisburg, win this game, let's go to the Bundesliga." With that, Reinhardt put down a leather bag directly on the table, opened the leather bag, and it was full of colorful and green European coins. "Win this game, and each of you has a reward." Episode 57. Winning the championship early, shooter inheritance. The crowd at the Main Stadium was so loud that players from both teams came out one by one from the players' tunnel. When Su Long appeared on the court, there was a cheer from the whole stadium. Su, the king of OE, a dragon from the mysterious East. For the rest of the Bundesliga team, Su is really a dragon. Yes, but after this season, I'm afraid I won't see Su on the Bundesliga arena. Well, let's go back to this game. If O continues his winning streak in this game, they will be able to get the Bundesliga championship trophy after this game, and the first place to upgrade to the Bundesliga. The starting lineup for the home O team is. As the live commentary began to read out the rosters of the matches between the two teams, the game soon began. Nuremberg's top brass are also watching the match in front of the television. If the OER streak is ended, Nuremberg, which is second in the table, still has a chance to struggle. They all prayed in their hearts that the OE team would better fall behind as soon as the game started. However, things went completely by surprise. Just 2 minutes into the game, Kunz cut off the ball from the Duisburg defender and passed it to Chip. Chip received the ball and made a cross into the box. Su Long has no one to defend? Entered. Oh my god, there's a big problem with the backline in Duisburg. Su Long didn't even have a defensive player by his side? It was only late until 13 that he scored. 1-0. Oh, opens the record. I looked at it. Duisburg's 2 original starting center backs were injured, and today it was young players who started playing. It can only be said that they are under a lot of pressure because they are facing the dragons of the Bundesliga. I think that's their deepest experience. Duisburg's head coach Meyer covered his head. He couldn't help it. These are already the best 2 substitute central defenders. Who knew that one injury would hurt too? Mel can only direct the players on the sidelines, indicating that you all go and pack him. In the 21st minute, Su Long received a long pass in front of Bangang. Su got the ball, he crossed it with his header and the ball got to Kunz's feet. Kunz shot inside the penalty area, got in. 2-0. The defenders in Duisburg learned the lessons of the previous goal and piled it all around Su Long, but ignored Kunz. It also shows that Su's big picture is too good. A mediocre header fairy assisted his old captain. Duisburg head coach Meyer has a headache. This group of pigs. Do you need 5 or 6 people to defend one person? In the 33rd minute, Chip grabbed a high ball in the penalty area, but was knocked down by the opposite center back, and the referee made a penalty. Who took the penalty? Captain Kunz took the initiative to give up his position to Su Long. Su Long came to take the penalty. It's in. 3-0. Su Long is very calm. The doorman was tricked by him. Oh my god, I always feel like something is going to happen today. Really? I also feel that today OE has more than 3 goals, and Su is not just a double goal. Yes, it's only been 30 minutes now, just the beginning. In stoppage time, OE attacked from a corner. Captain Kunz came to deliver this corner, inside the box. Chip topped the ball. It's in. Chip jumped high, headed the ball into the goal, and went in. Oh my god, it's 4-0. How many goals OE is going to score today? At this moment, the Main Stadium has become an ocean of joy. 4-0 at halftime. Is there a better result than that? At the end of the first half, Duisburg coach Meyer was furious and unable to arouse Duisburg's fighting spirit. This team can't take it. Mel already knew that after playing this season, he was going to leave. The second half began, and the two sides fought again. Not long after it started, it was Kuntz's cross into the penalty area again, and Su Long was in the middle of the four defenders on the left and right, and he shot and entered. Go Ale. It's in. 5-0. Su's hat-trick. Hat-trick again. How many hat-tricks did this be? 8 hat-tricks. With 8 hat-tricks in one season, Su is setting a new record in the Bundesliga, and Gerd doesn't seem to have replaced Su Long's meaning yet. Su's shot, very calm. Duisburg's backline is too young. I doubt that after this game, the Duisburg players will have a psychological shadow. Su Long opened his arms, clapped his hands with Kuntz, and then used the cell for a moment. Captain, your pass is so good. This season has received a lot of care and support from Kuntz, which is an important point for Su Long to have such a result in O. In the 70th minute, Chip was replaced, but instead of Cockle, he was replaced by Ryan, who had no starting position after recovering from injury. Ryan and the replaced Chip high-fived and then came on. He looked at Su Long. It was really fate. If he hadn't been injured, it would not have been Chip who was holding his thigh, but him. But it's a pity that there is no such thing. In the 79th minute, Ryan passed the ball into the penalty area from the bottom line. Su Long just tapped at the goal. The ball went in. Ryan immediately opened his arms and rushed towards Su Long. The two hugged each other. Ryan took a deep breath. I'm back, and I'm still going to hug Su Long's thighs. Even if it's only 2 games. 6-0. Oh my god, crazy performance. Dragon in the forbidden zone. Su turned on killing mode in this game, scoring 4 goals, perfect performance. Su dad Su and Su mom on the sidelines were so happy that tears were about to burst out. This is my son, they shouted with joy, their hearts full of pride. With less than 15 minutes left, Su Long has been on the field, which is also a respect for Su Long. In the 87th minute, Ryan's free kick again found Su Long in the penalty area. It's Su Long again. Su Long's head shook and attacked, entering. It's in. 7-0. Su Long scored 5 goals alone. Oh my god, what kind of performance is this? Push, penalty, pick, header. Today Su Long showed us what is comprehensive. The players in Duisburg are numb. Due to the injuries of multiple main players, which led to the appearance of a number of young players, I did not expect to encounter the massacre of the OR team on the first game, which can only be said to be bad luck. The referee saw that the OG players were already celebrating, and simply gave only 1 minute of stoppage time. 90 minutes and 50 seconds, before the time was finished, the referee blew the whistle at the end of the game. Then he smiled at Kuntz and Su Long and said, "Congratulations." The live commentary loudly announced, "The game is over." 7-0, Su Long 5 balls, perfect match, perfect ending. Now we announce that the winner of the 2003/2004 German Football League 2nd Division is OE. At the same time, congratulations to OE for taking the lead and getting a place in the Bundesliga. The stadium became an ocean of OE fans. All kinds of flags flying. Who would have thought that OE could actually upgrade the armor? For more than a decade, the impression of OE fans of OE has been that they have been torn between the Bundesliga and the Bundesliga. Today is the celebration festival of OE football. OE fans cheered, and even some female fans threw clothes. Mama Su said in Su's father's ear, after the game, "Don't you leave?" Su dad shouted into Su ma's ear. There is also the award ceremony. OE 570 team won the championship 2 rounds early. Oh, Mama Su suddenly realized. Su Long also encountered such a big scene for the first time in his life, and he looked curiously at the staff building a simple silver podium in the middle of the stadium. Soon, the trophy representing the Bundesliga champion was picked up. The top brass of the Bundesliga, as well as the OE top brass and several OE celebrities, were all applauding. Journalists, photographers, are pointing long guns and short cannons at the podium. Is this the rhythm to be on TV? Then, Su Long was surprised to find that the reporters and photographers of CCVV Sports Channel were also among them. Is this the rhythm of the CCVV to Dragonland? Just when Su Long was curious, he was pushed up by everyone and followed the captain Kuntz to receive the medal. The medal presented to Su Long was an old man. Su Long did not know who it was. When receiving the medal, the old man smiled and said, "Young man, you are very good. Continue to cheer." Su Long was very respectful of the old man and quickly said, "Thank you." After Su Long went up to the podium, he listened to Kuntz's introduction and learned that the medal was awarded to OE, the best scorer in the team during the East German League. The predecessor of the O team in the East German era was called SC Karlmark City Wismark. At that time, he was the hegemon of East German football, and Elg was the first scorer in the team at that time, winning 3 league titles in 1956, 1957 and 1959, and an East German Cup. The team was changed to OE in 1993. Kuntz took a deep look at Su Long and said, "This is also the inheritance of archers." Su Long nodded. Soon, all of OE's players received their medals and stood on the podium. Immediately afterward, with Captain Kuntz and head coach Gold, Su Long as the three centered, the whole team lifted the trophy together. At this moment, flashes from all directions illuminated the entire podium. The moment of winning the championship was clearly photographed by the photographers. The cheers and shouts of the audience reached a new level of mastery. Episode 58. CCTV News, National Shock. After a season of intense competition in the Bundesliga, OEU beat Duisburg 7-0 in the 32nd round on May 8, winning the Bundesliga 2 rounds early and qualifying for promotion to the Bundesliga. In this match, Dragon Country player Su Long scored 5 goals alone, scoring 36 goals so far this season, far ahead of the Bundesliga top scorers. An 18-second news broadcast appeared on CCTV5 Sports News on the evening of May 9. Interested netizens posted the video on the forum. Although it was only 18 seconds, it had already driven the fans of Dragon Country crazy. Bundesliga goal king, 18-year-old genius. Dragon fans seem to have seen the birth of the Asian king. Everything is fake. 36 goals scored, more than the previous 2 foreign national footballers Yang and Xia in Germany, 4 or 5 years of total goals. Just one season of goals set a new record for the total goals scored by Longhua Luyang players and goals scored by the season, more than double the number 1 place before, and Su Long still has 2 games left to play this season. In the end, how many balls are still uncertain. This post quickly fermented and became the fire post of the day. At the same time, several other posts that were also about Su Long's May 8 game also exploded. Su Long held up the champion's shield on the court, took a photo with the fans in the stands, circled around, took off his shirt, and threw it directly into the audience, causing the female fans to scream. After the game, the fans of this OE city cheered on the street, just like the new year, celebrating the victory of the OE team and the success of the promotion to the first division. We can see that many of the fans are wearing the number 9 shirt, and they are all fans of Su Long. When they saw the camera, they all smiled and posed for victory. This is the first title of Su Long's career, but we believe it is only the beginning. One of the posts was posted on the day Su Dad returned to China. On the night after watching the game, Su Dad and Su Ma flew back. When he returned home the next day, Su Dad immediately posted the photos he had taken and his observations on the Tianya forum. Netizens have left messages. Even Ji Wenjun, the green plum bamboo horse next door, couldn't help but come over and ask. Mama Su smiled and told Ji Wenjun about their experience in Germany. Ji Wenjun said enviously, "It sounds so funny." Mama Su shook Ji Wenjun's hand and said, "Wenjun, the next time we go, we will take you with us." Ji Wenjun quickly shook his head and said, "Uncle and Aunt, I'm just talking." Su Dad said, "Wait for the summer vacation." But at the summer vacation, I heard that there is still the Toulon Cup, and I have to sign a new team, and I don't know where to go when the time comes. Ji Wenjun secretly thought in his heart, wait until I have the opportunity to study abroad in the future. In the Tianya football section, the largest forum of the Dragon Kingdom, netizens and golfers are discussing Su Long. This heat lasted for a week, and then a new heat broke out. Because on May 15th, in the 33rd round of the Bundesliga, OE scored a goal away to Lübeck, continuing his scoring record. 37 goals, 17 consecutive rounds of goals, 17 consecutive wins. Su Long continues to set new records. It's the end of the season, and young fans are on vacation. The major forums of the Dragon Kingdom are discussing Su Long, discussing the upper limit of Su Long's future, and discussing the whereabouts of Su Long's next team. At the same time, more and more videos of Su Long competitions have also been excavated. It's all videos of German students in Germany. Originally thought that Su Long was just an 18-year-old old fan who was playing around. They were stunned to see Su Long's game video. Is this an 18-year-old young player? It is even fiercer than the 28-year-old national football team in China. This horse is the hope of the Dragon Kingdom. Yes, it is true that staying in the ocean is the truth. Any talented player who stays in the quagmire of the Dragon Kingdom will be corrupted. Su Long must be going to the Big Four leagues next season. Isn't it time to go to Manchester United again? By the way, there's another one going to Manchester United. What's it called? King Dong. He went to Belgium. Xiaodong scored in Biel last month. Don't take Xiaodong to touch the porcelain Su Long. Different natures. King Dong in Antwerp, Belgium, saw the posts on the forum and wanted to smash the computer. I originally thought that computer games were very fragrant, but suddenly I felt tasteless. No, I have to practice too. He can score 37 goals, and so can I. Dong Fangzhua. King Dong remembered the days of trial at Manchester United. The Portuguese practiced every day, and then remembered Su Long's 37 goals. He was angry. King Dong immediately put on his jersey and walked out of the dormitory with a soccer ball. Even the big guy at the top of the FA, who didn't know much about football, heard Su Long's name many times. Even his immediate boss, the state-level high-level big man in charge of the entire sports field of the Dragon Kingdom, was asking him how the young man Su Long was. Of course, the highest level of the Football Association did not dare to be sloppy, and specially summoned the top level of the Football Association to discuss once again whether Su Long should enter the national football team. At the beginning of the meeting, the top leaders of the Football Association spoke. Su Long scored 37 goals in the German Football League B, helping the team to win 17 consecutive games. Is such a player not yet capable of entering the national team? Many senior FA executives were immediately embarrassed. The Football Association is originally a department with a lot of connections, and for the national team, they like to arrange for related households to enter. And for outsiders like Su Long, who have no relationship, they are not very cold. Originally, the top brass of the Football Association thought that Su Long was just in a small team in the Bundesliga league, and his luck was a hat trick, and soon the heat was gone. Unexpectedly, Su Long's wind and rain in the Bundesliga league made the heat of the Dragon country up, resulting in the Football Association being punched in the face. Now when the top brass of the Football Association asks, they don't know how to answer. Finally, the Football Association pushed out the National Olympic head coach, Jia Guide. This opinion was put forward by Jia Guide. Let him explain it. Jia Guidance has MMP in his heart, but as the best athlete in Asia, Jia Guide's face and psychological quality are okay. Oh, good leadership. There is nothing remarkable about playing in Europe. The level of the Bundesliga is actually similar to our Dragon League A, and we have a lot of 20 goals in the Dragon Country First Division. Our national team wants the whole team, not some star. And the Bundesliga goal scorers are not stars. The top boss of the Football Association looked at Jia Ji coldly, thinking in his heart that you were an idiot. The two players who came back from Germany have entered the national team, and you say that Su Long's 37 goals are not nothing? Another high-level person also rushed to help. Su Long, a young player, has too high morale, recruiting him into the national youth team to play the Toulon Cup. He is not even willing to train. I don't see a training camp, and he can't fit into the national youth team participating in the Toulon Cup this time. The top boss of the Football Association said, when did the national youth team train? May 1st. The league game over there in Su Long is not over yet, right? How to come to the training? The faces of the top brass of the Football Association are not good looking, and their sophistry has been recognized. But the top boss of the Football Association only clicked to the end, just gave them a little warning, and said lightly, it's okay, everyone is running in, look at the results of this Toulon Cup. Soon, the meeting was over. Su Long, who was still training hard, received a call from Mendes. Mendes asked Su Long how to arrange his trip after the end of the season, and he would arrange transfer negotiations for each team for Su Long. Su Long thought for a moment and said, on June 1st, I'm going to France for the Toulon Cup. The Toulon Cup? Mendes recalled that another good young player under him also competed in the Toulon Cup 2 years ago and won the championship. The Toulon Cup is on June 1st on the island of June 10th, and the venue of the match happens to be in France. Mendes murmured. Su Long added, the itinerary of the Toulon Cup has been arranged, and I will meet in Toulon, France, on May 29th, and I need to leave on the 28th. Okay, I see. Then after the season ends on May 15th, I see the situation and I can come to you at any time. In fact, every time the Toulon Cup has a lot of teams sending scouts to visit the young players. Su Long's investigation has basically been completed. Of course, if you can get a good performance on the Toulon Cup, it is naturally better. Su Long smiled and said, of course, I went to the Toulon Cup to win. Good, Su, come on, I'll buy you to win the championship. Thank you. Episode 59. Farewell to OE, Season Reward, May 22nd, the match day of the final round of the Bundesliga. At 2 o'clock in Lincoln, many Longhua fans who stayed up late were shopping around the Tianya Forum to see if there were any results of the OE team game, because sometimes in the middle of the night, someone posted the result of the game. As soon as the result was refreshed, O vs Unterhaching Live appeared at the top of the football column. Ji Wenjun, who was in his boudoir, was secretly brushing the forum and exclaimed, there is a live broadcast? Hurry to open a look. The first page is a photo of the O Stadium, accompanied by a paragraph of text. Today is May 22nd, the 34th round of the 2003/2004 Bundesliga season, with OER playing at home against Unterhaching. As you can see, today's Main Stadium is crowded, and I heard that it is all full, and there are the flags of OE everywhere, as well as the flag of our Dragon country. Today is OER's last game of the season, and most likely Su Long's last game in OE. So my classmates and I plan to shoot this game and do a live broadcast to the fans and friends in China. The second page is a selfie of the 3 young ladies on the pitch. It's 8 o'clock, and with more than 10 minutes to go, the game is about to start. You can see that there are banners everywhere, and it is Su Long that says it. It shows the popularity of Su Long in OE. The following is the reply of each netizen. The game is over, right? 1. Didn't you see it live? It's 2 o'clock, and you still live stream a ball? Such a beautiful little sister. The landlord quickly replied, the game has just started. Today's game time is 8:15 p.m. German time. We're streaming it live. Then I sent a picture of the ball game. It's only now starting, then I can't wait. I'm sleeping. Oh, yes, Su Long can still score in this game. Let's hope to score. 18 rounds, it should make history. Su Long is already making history now. After 30 minutes, the landlord's post was updated. In the 41st minute, King's resistance was very tenacious, and Oe repeatedly failed to attack, but was successfully counterattacked by Unterhachchen and scored a goal. 0-1, Oe trailed by 1 goal. When the fans saw the latest news from the landlord, they were a little worried. No, the last game was behind. Soon, the landlord's post was updated again. 46 minutes, stoppage time, Oe corner, Su Long in the box header goal, scored a goal, tied the score, 1-1. We're going to counterattack. The first half scared me to death, but fortunately Su Long once again stood up. Su Long is really the god of Oe. The atmosphere was so great that we couldn't hear anything. Fans were relieved to see the equalize, and more people chose to sleep. After all, this kind of live broadcast method only has pictures, and it is easy to get sleepy when watching it late at night, but there are also many fans waiting for the landlord's update. But just wait an hour later. The posts are almost 30 pages old, and everyone is asking where the landlord has gone, whether he is asleep. When it was almost 4 o'clock, the landlord replied, I'm sorry everyone, the second half of the game is so exciting. I can't broadcast it to everyone. In the second half, Unterhachchen scored another goal to force out the strongest Su Long. Su Long scored another goal in the second half and assisted Kunz. The final score was 3-2, with Oe winning 18 games in a row. It's a wonderful game. I'll calm down first. Let's sleep. Tomorrow we will report the battle. Finally, the landlord sent out a photo of Su Long being carried back to the players' aisle by his teammates. In the locker room, Su Long and his teammates said goodbye one by one. Everyone knows that after today, Su Long is leaving Oe. Even if Oe is promoted to the Bundesliga, the teenagers chased by the world are destined not to stay where they are. Captain Kunz and Su Long hugged nicely. This season, he scored fewer goals, but the assists have improved significantly, and it is already the late stage of his football career, but he has returned to the light and lived a second life. This is all thanks to Su Long. Su, come on. Both Chip and Coker hugged Su Long. They were all very grateful to Su Long, and if it were not for Su Long's advice, they would not have had so much playing time. In particular, the young Cockle, who became a star in the future, has always been grateful to Su Long when it comes to his growth. Then, it was Yankier and Ryan's turn. Su, I wish you luck. Ryan sighed. If he hadn't been injured, he would have been able to hug Su Long's thigh. Unfortunately, now that Chip and Cockle are in position, their playing time has plummeted. After Su Long said goodbye to his teammates, he said goodbye to head coach Geld and assistant coach Eller. El looked at Su Long and said, Su, is the destination for next season determined? Su Long shook his head and said, not yet. El glanced at Gerd and said, Su, or else, stay in Oe next season. Gerder interrupted El and said, Eller, don't make a fuss, Su deserves to go to a better team. Is it like watching our Oe team go to the first round of the league? Speaking, Golder looked at Su Long and said, Su, you are a very self-determined person, which I am very relieved about. When you first came to our OE, you asked for playing time, we trusted you, and you also gave a return beyond trust. This time, hopefully you can continue to find a team that will give you enough playing time, trust your management and coach, and bless you to go to a big team that suits you. Su Long nodded, thank you Mr. Gold. Finally, team owner Leonhardt and manager Schmidt. Leonhardt shook hands with Su Long and said with a smile, thank you Su, you are the greatest hero of OE's victory, and we OE will always remember your merits. For your next transfer, as long as it is a penalty of £10 million, we OE are based on your choice, where you want to go. We OE as much as possible to cooperate with you. Su Long nodded and said, thank you boss. Leonhardt said seriously, it's us who thank you. In addition, I have an idea. I think through this perfect season, I can open up the passage of your Dragon Country players in the future, the specific matters, or by Schmid to tell you. I am not very professional, haha. Okay, boss. Manager Schmid immediately said, yes, I discussed with Gerder, we can organize a collective trial every summer in June and July, and we will be responsible for the living expenses after coming here. If you Dragon Nations players are willing to come to OE, we have endless welcomes. So what do you think? When Su Long heard Schmid's words, his eyes lit up and he hurriedly said, then I thank you for the Dragon Country players. In this way, more players can gradually walk out of the Dragon Country and go to the world through the springboard of OE. In fact, Schmid and Gerder are also hungry for Dragon Country players, in case there is another Su Long. Su Long thought about it and said, I will ask my agent to hand over this matter to you and discuss how to implement it. Well, and, Su, if there's anything during the transfer, you can always come to me. And I've been waiting for orders on the phone. Okay, hope you have a pleasant holiday. Su Long thought about it for a while, but decided to call Su Gao first, so as not to forget about this matter. Now Su Gao is not responsible for Su Long's transfer, and the transfer is all handed over to Mendes. Su Long just told Su Gao that the season was over, and said along the way that OE wanted to cooperate to open up the passage of Dragon Country players. Su Gao heard Su Long finish speaking, and an excited voice immediately came from the phone. This is good, too timely, Su Long, you are really very good. Okay, brother Su, you are doing business, you can't do bad business, introduce bad players, and harm the reputation of our Dragon Country. Su Gao immediately said, how is it possible? I want to introduce, OE cannot agree, Su Long, I tell you, now Dragon Kingdom is a group of excellent players, facing the situation of no ball to play. Su Long frowned and said, brother Su, are you exaggerating, is it so serious? The Chinese Super League is not too bad, right? No, Su Long, you haven't played in the Chinese Super League, don't know. In addition to foreign aid, our own players in the Chinese Super League. Hey, it's hard to say a word. Many head coaches like to use their own lineage. To put it bluntly, it is a relation. If it is not related, then many times in the Chinese Super League cannot be reused. UC Xia Hui, who also played in the Bundesliga before, is now facing a situation where he has no ball to play. Yang Chen, who has played in the Bundesliga, is also not very good in the middle of the league, and I think both of them will be willing to come to the trial. And Chu Bo, who used to be under my banner, he is also a good player, but he didn't have the opportunity to try out. And there is Jing Ji. Su Long hurriedly stopped. Brother Su, you don't need to say it, you are good at this field, I believe you. After hanging up the phone, Su Long sighed, hoping that Su Gao could really introduce several excellent players from the Dragon Kingdom to OE, and let OE succeed in relegation next season. Su Long did not leave the OE stadium until almost 2 hours after the end of the game. The main thing is that it is too late and the stadium janitor is going to close the door. One last glance at the green stadium shrouded in the night sky, and the familiar stands, Su Long turned and left. As soon as the footsteps stepped out, Su Long's mind immediately appeared in the grand voice of the system. 2003/2004 Bundesliga ends. Ding! Congratulations to the host season 39 goals, breaking the Bundesliga season goal record. Earn 1,000 achievement points. Episode 60. Features, The Hooded Killer. Ding! Congratulations to the host league for scoring 18 consecutive goals, breaking the record of consecutive goals in the Bundesliga. Earn 1,000 achievement points. Ding! Congratulations to the host league for winning 18 consecutive games, breaking the record of winning streaks in the Bundesliga league. Get 1000% just points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for 5 goals in a single game, breaking the record of a Dragon player scoring in a single game in the Bundesliga. Earn 10-00 achievement points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for maintaining a full victory record this season. Earn 1,000 achievement points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for helping the team upgrade successfully, setting a new record. Earn 500 achievement points. Ding! End of the first season. Score S. Get the feature, Hat Killer. Hat-worn Killer. After a single hat-trick game, get a 10-minute buff of +10 for physical stats and +20% off on injuries. Each subsequent goal will receive a 10-minute buff effect of +10 physical stats and +20% injury reduction. Buff effects can be overridden. Su Long looked at this new feature and his eyes widened. This feature is also too much to be compared to horses and cows. However, the trigger conditions are also too high. A hat trick can only be triggered. However, the buff effect after triggering is really anti-sky. Not only is there a physical stat +10, but there is also an injury waiver. Su Long feels that this injury relief is the most important, because after your hat trick, the other party will most likely be angry and kill you madly. At this time, the role of this feature is revealed. Combined with the Iron Man characteristics of Su Long itself, it is almost impossible to get hurt. I don't know which team to go to yet, but at the Toulon Cup, you can try to trigger the characteristics of this hat-wearing killer. Su Long began to look forward to whether he could slaughter it in the Toulon Cup. Su Long now has 6,000 plus achievement points. It can be simulated 60 times. Get rich overnight. Su Long returned to the dormitory, looked at the posters in the dormitory, the teapot, and had been living in this dormitory for half a year. Thinking that I was going to leave again, I couldn't help but feel a little lost. Then there was a hint of excitement. Where's your next journey? Su Long froze for a while, then called Mendes and asked him if he had any interested club information. Su, first of all, had the financial resources of £10 million, and the team that has the will, now respectively, Premier League teams, Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea, La Liga, Real Madrid, Barca, Bundesliga, Bayern Munich, Dortmund, Serie A, Juventus, AC Milan, Inter, Ligue 1, Lyon, Lille, Marseille, Paris Saint-Germain. But again, the most sincere is Manchester United. Su Long sighed. Not Sir Alex Ferguson is not good, he is amiable, but with the current body to go to the Premier League will break his foot, or upgrade first and then pass. And, with the ability he has now, going to Manchester United is only a part of the Manchester United team. What Su Long wants is to be the core of the attack, just like this season above, scoring more than 30 goals and 40 of his goals. I am afraid that I could not do this in the first few years of Manchester United. Mendes said curiously on the other end of the phone. Sue, can you tell me where your concerns are? Su Long thought for a moment and said, when I go to Manchester United, can I play like I did in OE? Didn't Sir Force say he could guarantee your playing time? I mean tactical position. Mendes said with a loud voice. I see. I used to be a player, I can understand this feeling. You are right, your tactical position at Manchester United. Substitutes, or play pivot forwards. But I want to score more goals. Su Long thought in his heart that now that he has the characteristics of a hat-wearing killer who is specially built for goals, if he does not choose a team that can focus on young goal scorers, he will really lose. Mendes said, you said that, I understand, what you want to do is the top scorer of the small team. Heck, that would be a waste of your talent. Sue, you're a genius, and the growth you get from getting into the top teams is definitely faster than growing up on a small team. Su Long thought to himself, my talent comes from my goals, don't give me goals where to achieve points. Mendes still didn't want to listen to Su Long when he saw Su Long's appearance, so he personally came to talk to Su Long. After Mendes met, seeing that Su Long was still obstinate, he was very resolute and helplessly said, well, I recommend Ligue 1 champion Lyon. Then Ligue 1 is Ligue 1 Lille, Marseille and Auxerre are more suitable. Their main strikers have confirmed their departure. You join them and you have a chance to get the main position. Didn't you say you were going to France before the 29th? If you don't talk to them first, maybe you can settle down. Su Long groaned and said, are there any others? I would like to think about it more. Now there are so many achievement points, not simulating multiple teams. Su Long does not let go at all. Mendes thought for a moment and said, there are also Sporting Lisbon and Benfica in the Portuguese Premier League, Ajax in the Dutch League, Celtic in the Soviet Super League, Zenit St. Petersburg in the Russian Super League, Galatasaray in the Turkish Super League, Fenerbahce and Besiktas, all of which are teams that fit your ideas. And the two small teams in the Champions League finals, Monaco and Porto, no matter who wins or loses, will become a supermarket of players. Their players will go a large number of them. You are also very likely, but these two teams will not know what is going on until after the 27th. Su Long thought for a moment and said, okay, is there any information? Let me think about it. Mendes said, the information of these small teams needs to go to the Frankfurt office. In this way, Su Long followed Mendes to Frankfurt. On the way, Mendes tells Sauron why he recommends Lyon, because Lyon qualifies for the Champions League. If Su Long chooses Lyon, then there is a good chance of playing in the Champions League. There is no need to explain too much about the importance of the Champions League for players. Even if there is no place, it is excellent to participate in the Champions League a few times and have Champions League experience. If you choose Ligue 1 Lille, Marseille and Auxerre, at least next season there will be no European Championship to play, but the advantage is in Ligue 1, how to say the team in the 15 leagues, and the Portuguese Premier League Sporting Lisbon and Benfica, the Dutch Leagues Ajax, the Soviet Super Leagues Celtic, the Russian Super League St. Petersburg Zenit, the Turkish Super Leagues Galatasaray, Fenerbahce and Besiktas, most of these teams, are participating in the Europa League. It depends on personal choices. On the way, Su Long squinted and rested and began the simulation. In 2004, at the age of 18, you joined Ligue 1 side Lyon for a transfer fee of £10 million. In 2005, when you were 19 years old, after scoring twice in a game, you were shoveled by the opposing defender, the cruciate ligament was torn, and the season was reimbursed. In 2020, at the age of 34, you joined the Bundesliga team OE for free, and at the end of the season, you decided to retire after careful consideration. From then on, your football career is completely over. Choose one of the four options below. Physical attributes of 22-year-old, score 41. Technical attributes of 25-year-old, score 45. Mental attributes of 30-year-old, score 51. Life experience of 34 years old. Nima, who was injured the following year, was Ligue 1 so rough. Physical attributes and mental attributes have not increased. It is really too tragic. After Su Long chose the technical attributes, he simulated it again, or chose Lyon. In 2004, at the age of 18, you joined Ligue 1 side Lyon for a transfer fee of £10 million. In 2005, when you were 19 years old, you gradually played the main position, and at the end of the season, you scored 15 goals and won the Ligue 1 Silver Boot. You scored 3 goals in the Champions League and became a rising star in the world's attention. In 2006, you were 20 years old, had a torn cruciate ligament during a training session, and was reimbursed for the season. Physical attributes of 22-year-old, score 42. Technical attributes of 25-year-old, score 46. Mental attributes of 30-year-old, score 52. Life experience of 34 years old. Su Long was silent. Was Naima blackened by his teammates? This time, the physical attributes have also increased by 1 point. Choose body attributes. Your current physical attribute 42, technical attribute 45, spiritual attribute 51. After choosing his physical attributes, the unbelieving Su Long decided to give League One another chance. This time instead of Lion, choose the small team Lille and give it a chance. In 2004, at the age of 18, you joined League One side Lille for a transfer fee of £10 million. In 2005, when you were 19 years old, you gradually played the main position, and at the end of the season, you scored 18 goals and won the League One Silver Boots. You scored 9 goals in the Toto Cup and helped the team win the Toto Cup hopes. You scored 5 goals in the Europa League and helped the team reach the quarterfinals. In 2006, when you were 20 years old, you were reused by the head coach and made 38 appearances in League One, scoring 18 goals and winning the League One Silver Boot. You scored 6 goals in the Europa League and once again folded the quarterfinals. In 2007, at the age of 21, you made 38 appearances in League One and scored 20 goals. You scored 4 goals in the Champions League and folded the group stage. In 2008, at the age of 22, you made 28 appearances in League One and scored 14 goals. You scored 9 goals in the Europa League and once again folded the semi-finals. In 2009, at the age of 23, you moved to Real Madrid for €50 million. In 2010, when you were 24, you were squeezed into the bench, and at the end of the season, you scored only 4 goals. In 2011, when you were 25, you didn't get the reuse of the manager, and at the end of the season, you only scored 5 goals. In 2013, at the age of 27, you moved to Paris Saint-Germain for €25 million. In 2014, at the age of 28, you made 30 appearances in League One and scored 15 goals. In 2015, at the age of 29, you made 32 appearances in League One and scored 9 goals. In 2016, you were 30 years old, transferred to Besiktas for €10 million, tore a cruciate ligament in one game, and was reimbursed for the season. Su Long was stunned. The first time I was injured at the age of 30, he seemed to have found something crucial underneath.